Do you know about the sign behind me?
Yes, I do.
Can I admit something? I
Yeah.
just learned about it because people were saying, I look, everyone's susceptible to narrative, like the mainstream narrative and whatever, myself included, right? So people were saying to me, read about the Great Reset. And I got to be honest, my reaction was like, oh God, this sounds like some stupid conspiracy thing, people, where they're going to be like, oh, there's some cabal of people that's trying to do the Great Reset. It's some thing. It's some like New World Order, blah, blah, blah thing, Illuminati. That's what I expected. But then I did the stupid thing of like Googling it. Actually, Trudeau helped me out, which is why he's on our cover.
Can we play that clip of Trudeau?
Yeah, let me find
Do you have it?
Yep, here he is.
Because it's funny that this came up because I started reading about the Great Reset last week. I can't remember why. I think it was somebody saying read about it. And I looked up a few articles in legacy media where they're very open about it. It's not a conspiracy theory.
Right. No, right. That's what I found out. It's like, it's not a conspiracy at all. It's actually, there's a website. So
there's a website for the Great Reset.
They're very open.
Yeah.
But let's hear, Justin Trudeau is what made me, when he said this, I went, oh, maybe this is real. I need to go look this up. Mea culpa. I just figured it was some crazy thing. Okay, here's Trudeau. I apologize in advance that you have to listen to Justin Trudeau.
Building back better means getting support to the most vulnerable while maintaining our momentum on reaching the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the SDGs. Canada is here to listen and to help. This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset. This is our chance to accelerate our pre-pandemic efforts to reimagine economic systems that actually address global challenges like extreme poverty, inequality, and climate change.
Okay, so that is Trudeau. I thought he was like letting it slip and that like, oh, he wasn't supposed to say the use of the word reset. But no, he's not letting it slip. They're not. This is fine. This is fine to them. So the Great Reset here, let me show some web pages here because you can just look this stuff up. It's just here. The Great Reset. This is the World Economic Forum. The Great Reset was, it appears to be the brainchild of one of the founders of the World Economic Forum here. And just to be clear, so there's a couple of there's this website, the World Economic Forum Great Reset one. And there's another one called, there's actually just greatreset.com, which we'll go over in a second. The thing to keep in mind about this is, so this guy, Klaus Schwab, wrote a book about it. I think he's the co-founder of the World Economic Forum. This language is not aimed at you. This is aimed at elites. This is elites talking amongst themselves about what to do. And they're doing it out in the open in front of everyone because they want as many
right in front of us
cathedral people paying attention as possible. And I want to point that out because I just want to show you what I'm talking about. There is this is from this website. There's an urgent need for global stakeholders to cooperate in simultaneously managing the direct consequences of COVID. So they're not talking about regular people. They're talking about global stakeholders. That means they're talking about the elite class. And if you go down here, you can see what they're talking about, who they intend this to be for. It says, as we enter, and by the way, we've quoted Rahm Emanuel in the past. This is the definition here of never let a crisis go to waste. Right. So
never let a crisis go to waste. By the way,
go ahead.
We don't give trigger warnings on this show, but I just want to say this is chilling. So
totally chilling.
If it sends a shiver down your spine, you're not the only one. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that. So it says here, as we enter a unique window of opportunity. So they're viewing the crisis. So remember, these are elites talking to elites, and they're saying COVID this crisis of COVID is an opportunity. It's an opportunity. As we enter a unique window of opportunity to shape the recovery, this initiative will offer insights to help inform. So who are they going to help inform? All those determining the future state of global relations, the direction of national economies, the priorities of societies, the national business models, and the management of a global commons. This is exactly what I was talking about a few minutes ago with respect to the idea of America being this untamed place where people have liberty and there aren't people in charge of the economies and in charge of the societies and in charge of the business models and the management of their resources. In an actual free society where you're not controlled, not centrally planned, America is the problem here. They can't do this in a country where people have rights and don't have to listen to leaders. They need control. That's what this is. So they're talking amongst themselves. This is what this is. So what is the Great Reset? Here's another website. Why do we need to reset? Well, what they want here, ultimately, this is about what they're calling climate change and sustainability. Okay. And they don't, just keep in mind when they talk about, they don't really use the word liberty, but when they think about freedom or liberty, to them, those are economic tools that you use so that the farm animals on the tax farm are more productive. They're not moral things to discuss. These aren't moral concepts to them. They don't have conversations about what's right and what's wrong. What they have conversations about is what incentives work to control the masses to do the things that we want, right? That's why you have success in China, right? Because you had Deng Xiaoping take over after Mao died, and basically, and you had him look at this and say, oh, we can't just do socialism. We need socialism with, quote, Chinese characteristics, which meant we're going to need some freedom because socialism itself doesn't work. Freedom is just a tool. China has no ideological love for freedom. There's no ideological reason to let people have private property, except that it creates a better tax farm for them. So that's the mentality here. So what they're saying, what we do to reset is they're saying the pause during this lockdown created by the pandemic will result in a 7% decrease in global emissions. So this is a silver lining to them. You're staying home and starving and running off, ruining your savings. Well, that's good because we don't have as many global emissions. The UN states that we need to decrease 7.6 every year until 2030 to avoid climate and ecological disaster. Of course, as we've talked about in the past, there's always, that's just perpetual. We've already passed points of no return several times. They say here, this means we need to maintain the same decrease every year as if we were living in lockdown. So what they want people to not change. They want, when lockdown ends, they want to have the same lifestyle as before the lockdown. Look, people don't want to go back. This is, again, when you see people, just think sheep. That's how they're thinking of it, right? Our tax resources don't want to go back. Only 23% of the UK public believe following lockdown, advertising should encourage people to consume, shop, and fly like before lockdown. 77% believe it's the industry's responsibility to encourage people to behave more sustainably like during lockdown. Right now, we have a small window of opportunity to reset and reshape the future we want. The Great Reset is a creative industry movement to embed the positive environmental shifts that have happened during lockdown as the new normal. This is what they want. This is what they want. And to do this, they need control. They need to get rid of individual rights. They need to have control. This is why they need hate speech laws, for example, because they need control over you. Someone said to me, go buy more rice. Yeah, and I've got a lot of food in the fridge and the downstairs. I think we can survive. But yeah. So this is what they want to do.